This is Mick Gillette.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Proops.
This is Dan Stone.
This is Nate Boyer.
This is Hilliard Guest.
This is Nathan
This
East.
is Rob Bell.
This is Michael Kalou.
This is J.R. Robinson.
This is Dr. Bob Greenberg.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, I'm Mark Valley.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
This is D. Edward, and you're listening to The Break It Down Show.
And now, The Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero, Mark Valley, and Pete A. Turner.
We're in Mendocino Farm Sandwiches in lovely Hollywood.
Yeah, right off of Santa Monica and La Brea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely come down and check
this
it out.
This is the joint,
Excellent
man.
foods.
This is, and it's great, too. I love
Got
it.
a blue cow and some grass.
See, what'd you eat for a sandwich, man? You had the K-Town barbecue?
I did. I had the K-Town barbecue. It had kimchi and all kind of other good stuff on
All
there.
right.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Really.
It looked good.
I've never had that before.
I had the pork belly banh mi.
You know, that looked pretty good, too.
It was legit, man. And Pete had a salad.
I had a salad. I'm trying to be the fattest guy that eats salad ever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to be, the best at that.
We're here with the most patient podcast guest who has been with us since approximately 9:30 this morning. He sat through, Pete took a shower.
Yeah.
And then we made a pot of soup, which we're simmering for tomorrow.
That's right. At one point, we had you standing by to stand by.
Yep. He was hungry, but we couldn't give him the soup because it's not going to be ready till tomorrow.
Right.
I'm missing an arm now, though.
Yeah. That's a
Which is tough for a percussionist.
That's right. That's right.
And for the sake of introduction, listeners out there will want to know, D is a singer, songwriter,
Percussionist,
producer.
Yes, producer. I act a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Voice acting as well.
Voice acting as well as...
Well, that's a lot of pressure
ugly
because
face on
right
screen.
now you have the opportunity on this podcast to be the best voice actor on the podcast.
That's true.
So, and not just the opportunity, but the responsibility. Also, he's wearing a Grammy hat because
Yeah.
he's a voting member of NARIS.
Right.
I am. NARIS, the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences.
That's true.
Yes, and when they say I'd like to thank the Academy,
That's the
that's
Academy.
who they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're talking about guys like me and a bunch of other professionals that are in music.
Yeah.
So the layman's question is, how does one get into a position where they're looking at the best music written that year and voting on it?
Yeah, what qualifies you as a Grammy voter?
Well, so in order to be a Recording Academy member, it's based on your resume.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain amount of releases within, it's all based on a 5-year block.
Okay.
So
Right.
when you apply, it's whatever you've done in the previous 5 years. If you've had enough releases and credits that qualify you as a voting member,
Yeah.
then that's what it takes. Then you submit your application, they vet it, check your
Credentials,
bio,
yeah.
right? Because that's
And the thing is, this is a small community.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, and I've had
everybody
people,
knows everybody.
I've had people. A friend of mine who was part of I believe he was on the board at the time. They were looking at new applicants, and so he called me and he said, "Hey, so I heard." This is when I was playing with Confunction, and he said, "Hey, so I got this application. You ever heard of this guy? He says he's Confunction's manager."
Oh boy,
And I'm like, "No, I've
never heard of that guy." Yeah.
He's like, I thought so. That's
Yeah.
why I thought I'd call you just to check it. So, there are definitely people trying to get in. But there's a whole, they're very serious about the process and the fact that it's the highest honor in music.
Right.
So they're very careful about who they're letting.
No, I managed Can Function. Can. With an A.
We had 27 releases in the last 5 years.
Man, we release a lot of stuff.
All in North Korea.
Right.
You can't check there, but you just believe me.
Yeah, just trust me. We're
So
really
you,
big.
we met really through all the mutual friends that we have, many of whom have been on the show. Former bandmates of yours, actually.
Well, now the current band, you've got, I don't know about former, but you've had my current band members, Leah Ticey, Rich Aguan.
Yeah.
They both currently play with me, even though we're separated currently.
Well, a few miles is a few miles,
Yeah,
man.
a couple miles.
Yeah.
Artistically, you're solid.
And let me just
and
say, like, I love what Rich does. And, just him playing the drums. We got to see him in a super small venue last time we saw him, and it was great. And I also love it. I've hired Leah Ticey to sing for me, so you guys should definitely check out those shows that we have because Leah is a beautiful soul and a wonderful singer. Just incredible.
I feel like I'm lucky that they like playing with me. As a band leader, I'm serious. Well, I'm no Rich for, 25 years
Sure.
or whatever. Leah I probably have known less. And I want to say within the last 5 or 6 years. No, maybe longer than that. I mean, Leah and I had worked together off and on through the years, and then she's been in the band, I think maybe 4 years.
Wow.
And I just, every time I go to rehearsal, I play with, I have this band backing me up because I sing as well. I'm just surprised.
You just look around like,
that's how Leah got in. That I asked her to be in the band was she actually was subbing for another vocalist friend of mine that had been working with me for years. She couldn't do this one gig, and so as we were rehearsing and everything, and then once we did the gig, it was great, right? And then Leah says afterwards, she's like, I can't get your songs out of my head.
All
I said,
right.
wow, I really like your music. I can't get it out of my head. And I said, you know what? I would like you to be in the band because that's the first step is that you like the music and you're a badass.
You perform the music with conviction and sincerity, and she's a badass.
And quite frankly, so she's while she does do some lead stuff, she's my background vocalist, right? So that's to me that's the most impressive part. One for her because she can run circles around almost everyone I know.
Yeah.
And certainly me because almost all the other singers I know, they all can run circles around me. But she's just so down to earth and so,
Man.
I mean, she's just so amazing.
Well, as a band leader, you're almost like a quarterback, right? Where you go, okay, maybe I'm not the greatest arm in the league, but what I'm going to do is surround myself with talent that's going to understand what I'm doing.
Exactly.
So that when I put the ball up there, they're going to go up and get it.
Yeah.
And, absolutely, she's good for that. I mean, as a supporting cast member, you can't ask for somebody who's more sensitive to the needs of the music and understand where to fit herself in and then execute.
Mm-hmm. And she does. She executes. She sang at my friend's wedding. She sang At Last.
Oh.
And the compliment was, I thought that was a CD.
Yeah.
And that's the ultimate because they didn't know because she was kind of standing by a pillar and it was like, no, that's an actual human singing live.
She's
like
glowing.
that.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Really fantastic.
And then Rich.
And together.
Rich has got enough praise on this show. I'm not going to say anything about it.
No,
but having both of them in the band, and then that's just two people.
Yeah.
The rest of the guys I have in my band. So let me just name them.
Go for it.
Please.
Paul Hunt on guitar.
Paul Hunt.
I have Ben Reyes on keyboards.
Yeah.
Rocky Ramirez on keyboards. Ariana Cap on bass. I've had. She's also from Vallejo. Amazing bass player. She's studied with Victor Wooten. You guys should have her on the show.
Okay. Ariana, we're coming.
Ariana Cap. She's also a board member for the San Francisco chapter of the Recording Academy.
Okay.
Perfect.
But she's also my bass player.
And if there's anything John loves, it's a woman bass player.
I do love
He
chick bass
does.
players,
He
man.
loves it.
I do too. So there's another bass player so my original bass player was a guy named Kenny Williams. But I just did a show last year and had to sub Ariana. And there's another bass player, female. Her name is Vicky Grossi.
Okay.
Who is amazing too. It's incredible the amount of talent that those two women have on the bass. It's just incredible.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And I have to say, having female band members is actually a very great selling point for me, especially. So last year I played at the Hotel Cafe here in L.A. Or West Hollywood, and so my entire band was female except for me and the drummer.
You're like Robert Palmer.
Yeah.
That's what people were saying, and it was funny because Leah had said she was talking to somebody who didn't actually know me very well. But she says, "Oh yeah, I'm getting ready to play with my friend G. Edward in L.A." He's like, "Oh, that's the guy with the hot band."
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, that's right. That's what I do.
Well done. Well done.
So I really liked it, and they were just such badasses too.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just amazing. Because I had to, so that band was my friend Yuko Tamura, who plays keyboards with Gladys Knight. So it was her, my friend Jules, who's a voiceover actress / singer, and they're just all gorgeous and incredibly talented, and it was just amazing. I want to do that again.
Yeah, that sounds like a good gig. I'm sitting back thinking, wow, nice work if you can get it.
Yeah.
If you have a supporting cast that you can go out there and really sell and have everybody go, something special about the experience of this band because, they're smoking, first of all.
Yeah.
And then they're also a bunch of females led by this guy who we have no idea how he assembled this band. But I love that dynamic, man, because the thing is, everybody wouldn't be there if they didn't love the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Let's face it, if you're a hot chick who plays the whatever you play,
Yeah.
you can get a gig.
Yeah.
It's not about just getting a gig, though. It's about
Right.
playing the music that you enjoy and that stimulates you and that you can be proud of.
Yeah. And I feel blessed that all these great musicians, male and female,
Sure.
seem to enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I can't complain about that.
Yeah.
Where'd you meet Rich?
Oh, man. I met Rich like 25 years ago playing in a cover band in Pleasanton.
Okay.
In this little tiny hole in the wall. It was a band called After Dark.
Yeah.
And it was
You played in After Dark?
Yeah.
My cousin Daryl was in After Dark.
Daryl Armstrong?
No, Daryl Carbolito.
Oh.
Years ago he was in
Okay,
After
so
Dark.
that was before me.
It was, but who's in After Dark? Damon?
Damon was.
Deb?
Yes, Debbie.
Uh-huh.
So Damon at that point, he would come and go because he was living somewhere else. But so there was a guy named Palaio who was playing keys
Okay.
most of the time, and then Damon would come in and play whatever Damon wanted to play.
Yeah, whatever he wanted to play. Yeah.
But yeah, like Rich, there was a guy named Melkor was singing, Debbie, Stanley Davis on guitar. But yeah, it was like 25 years ago, just in some hole. There was a little hole, I think it might still be there, in Pleasanton, California.
Okay.
Called Poppy Lounge.
I see.
There's a little hole in the wall, probably about the size of this restaurant, maybe a little bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, Rich's brother Kenny used to be the drummer in After Dark. And so, you know how they are. They kind of switch off, Kenny and
Right.
Rich and Gerald, and do each other's gigs. And it doesn't matter who you get. You get a pretty good job. But
Yeah.
Rich, though, is really special for me because I met Rich the same night I met my wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was an auspicious occasion. I've told the story on the podcast a few times. But the other thing about Rich, Kenny, and Gerald is that we're all from Guam. So, you know, we have a unique connection in a couple different ways. But the main connection that Rich makes with everybody else in the Bay Area is that motherfucker is bad on the drums.
He certainly really is.
On the drums.
He really is.
He is a monster. I mean, we talk a lot. You and I have nerded out about drummers we enjoy. And, you know, Harvey Mason, Steve Gadd, everybody else.
I put Rich right up there
Rich
with all of those
Rich
guys.
is right up there with
I mean,
anybody,
really,
man.
his playing, his
His
personality,
meter,
you know, his
his
whole,
contribution,
Yeah, just
the tastefulness that he
And
brings
he
to
can sing.
music, his dynamics, and he can sing. He can sing falsetto. He can throw out all of the parts that are, you know, he'll do the lead part if you want him to do the lead part. But if you're like, I'm just going to do the melody, he'll be like, don't worry about me. I'll fit in. And he'll do it. So, yeah, I could see where your choice of bandmates has taken you into some pretty cool musical territory.
It has. It's really, you know, I'm just blessed that I know these great players that, you know, one, I can learn from.
Yeah.
And, you know, just lucky that they keep showing up.
They keep showing up.
Yeah.
Well, it probably helps that you write good music and that you pay them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's important.
Yeah.
And actually, and that actually, we should be doing more of that as musicians, as entertainers. You know, I remember I heard an interview when I was a little kid with Duke Ellington. And somebody had asked Duke, it must have been pre-recorded, but somebody had asked Duke, you know, you got these great musicians that have been playing with you for 20, 30 years.
Right.
I mean, they're the best in the business. How do you do this? How do you do it? And Duke said, it's very simple. I pay them.
Yes.
Yeah. It is simple, but it is more than that. I mean,
is
Duke
more.
Ellington got to build over 30 years, you know.
Well, he's Duke Ellington.
But
Yeah.
they-
I mean, his music is...
But they couldn't do it if he wasn't paying them.
That's
so
very
I think
important. That's,
to your
that's
your
what
point,
he was making. Right.
you know, we have to, as consumers, we have to, if we love music, we have to support music.
That's true.
And as music creators, in order to continue the, you know, ongoing love of music, we have to collaborate with artists who stimulate us and stimulate crowds. And if crowds are going to be kind enough to support us,
Yeah.
we got to spread the wealth.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, you have 2 albums. Your first album came out in 2011, Little Red Box.
Yes.
And then your more recent album is called Love Is. And
Yes, it
it's
came out late.
2015.
Yeah. 2015.
Yes, about a year and a half ago.
Yeah. It's still selling too. Actually, I'm still promoting. I'm still marketing. I'm working on a new album as well. But yeah, that album is still going strong. And if you look at that cover, that's actually me on top of a building at Van Ness and
That's not Photoshop?
and Jackson. No, That's my distributor's building.
Wow.
So when we did that album cover of me walking off that building,
Uh-huh.
I had a week to find a building to do that with. And
Okay.
so here's the thing that I had no idea.
Is there a safety harness involved in this photo at all?
That's photoshopped out. So there's
Okay.
a rope and a safety harness
I
that's
see.
photoshopped out.
Okay.
But the way
Because this makes my balls are reacting to this photo right now.
you should see the one on the inside. It's from there's actually a shot from above.
Uh-huh.
That's looking down.
Oh, man.
Van
Come
Ness
on.
and Jackson.
Yeah.
Tell me what your balls are doing right now, Pete.
Loving
This is
it.
a Pete. This is a question I ask Pete about 4 or 5 times a day. Tell me what your balls are doing right now.
Let me show you.
Now, we're looking at a photo of D with his foot out, and he's literally walking off the edge of a building. So you can imagine what that does to your senses as you watch what you think is going to be a man walking right off the edge.
I have a fear of heights too.
Do you really? How'd you get over that then? You just
I-
sucked it up and did it, or what?
I thought, well, this could be the last CD I ever make, and I'm going to go big.
All right.
Okay.
There's nothing
You
wrong
know.
with that.
And really, so the album cover wasn't my idea. The concept wasn't my idea. It was actually the art director, Daniel Garcia. And he's the one that thought, well, he actually came up with these 3 different ideas. One was he saw me in this red suit, like in front of colored urban walls. Kind of like Caribbean colored walls. I don't know where we would have found that in the Bay Area. But, and then he had another idea.
right off of Grand Avenue.
Oh, that's
right.
right.
By the, yeah.
Then another one about me laying on some multicolored flowers in a red suit. And I'm like, okay. And then he said, or there's this other idea. So your album's called Love Is a Leap of Faith. And I see you walking off a building. And I'm like, that sounds amazing.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
sounds like an amazing cover. Now, how are we going to do that?
Well, you're going to walk off the edge of a building, he said, and you went, motherfucker, you crazy.
Can I do that in a red suit?
Right. You do have a hat to match that suit, right?
Like you're
'Cause
Carmen from the Carmen opera.
when I fall off of this thing
Yeah.
and die, I want to be in the red
I
suit.
want to look good.
Yeah.
He literally said, okay, we need to find a low-rise building. I'm like, I don't even know what a low-rise building is.
Right.
He's like 4 flights or less. I said, okay. So, and I'm thinking, that's probably easy enough to do. But you know what? I wouldn't think about the insurance and the legalities of it.
Right.
So nobody wanted to do it except for my distributor, thank God. IDC. I posed the question. I said, hey, you know anybody with a building that we could take this photo? And so they're my distributor. They're
Yeah.
like, absolutely. Do it on our
Absolutely.
building.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
You got to sign a release, but
Right.
you
But
can absolutely
that's
do it.
fine. Yeah.
I'm like, cool.
They're
let's
supporting
do
their
it.
artists.
It's not even that crazy of a stunt, though. I mean, like, you would think a building would want the notoriety of being on another album cover, because you're harnessed in. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, but so I was the one tying the knots. And so the way that happened, it was me, a makeup artist, and the photographer.
Uh-huh.
That was it as part of our crew. So I had to go to REI,
Yeah.
figure out how to put a harness on. I've never had a rock climbing harness on.
Sure.
How to tie a
Not a
knot.
rock climbing harness.
And so when I went to REI, I said, hey, I'm a musician. I explained this whole thing. I'm taking
Never climbed a rock.
I've never done this. But next Sunday, I'm taking these pictures, right? And the guy just couldn't understand. Like
Right.
he's still thinking I'm a rock climber,
Yeah, like,
even though
no.
I'm saying no, I'm this musician.
No.
And then so he shows me the harness. I put the harness on. There's a rope in REI that's already set up to test them. So I said, okay, I see how it works. Can you show me how you tie that knot? Like on the that clip thing? I forgot what it's called.
Carabiner.
Yeah. And he says, no, we can't do that. Legally, we can't show you how to tie a knot, but we can sell you a book on how to do it. And so I still have it. It's a really thin book. The very first page, it says, the leading cause of death and injury in rock climbing is the improper tying of
Motherfuckers
knots.
tying a knot wrong. Yes.
All right.
So I'm like, okay. So I ended up learning the figure 8 follow-through knot.
Yes.
Which was the one knot. But then, so where I'm tied at, though, I was tied around a pole. And it's very different when you're trying to do that,
Right.
while
It
you have the
is.
photo shoot that's pending and you're trying to do it. So I just ended up. So and they say
And you're in a red suit.
yeah, right. And I guess they say, if you can't tie the proper knot, then tie more knots.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
that's what I
Pile
did.
them on.
Yeah.
Good work. It was photoshopped out anyway.
Yes. And I'm still alive. So.
And you're still alive.
I got the story for the grandkids.
Yeah, man.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So after you did that, did you start thinking of other, like Johnny Knoxville, after he does one of his crazy movies, he can't stop doing stunts for a while. Like he's so in stunt mode. So did you get like in stunt mode where you're like, next time I'm going to, and then it's going to be something on an airplane.
You know what I could do? I could rappel down the side of the Bay Bridge in my pajamas.
Yeah. I've got this harness.
Yeah, none of that crossed my mind. I was just so happy to get
that
off
you
that
made
roof.
it.
Yeah.
That the knots worked.
I have a suggestion then. You already have the harness. You can't return a harness. Right? So Australian rappels when you're face down towards the ground and you just run down the building. So the next is the sequel. You're like, fuck that, I'm out. And you're like running down the building. And that'll be it.
Do.
That would be amazing, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to plug my brother. My brother can do that.
Yeah.
Really?
There you go.
He can do it to the point where he's the rappel master for the California correction system.
Oh, is that right?
So if there's a prison riot and they capture the building and they need to send guys in through the skylight, my brother's the first guy in through the skylight.
Wow.
Yeah. So he can do a number of those, like what do they call it, free roping? Or
free roping,
stuff like that. So he can literally run face down the side of a building. And the way that he releases,
incredible.
he can keep running down the side of the building until he gets to the sidewalk and keep running horizontally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably not doing that.
You're going to avoid that one.
You just need one frame. One frame,
That's right. You just put the close-up in the scene.
And the album title's called Running From Your Bitch Ass.
That's funny.
Okay. Well, I think we've made a decision. That's a great creative direction. I think he's found a new career.
Running from your bitch ass.
Running from your bitch ass. Yeah, man. So the other thing, though, was that you were also spent the last few years, before you moved to Los Angeles, you were the percussionist for Confunction.
I was.
Which we love.
13 years.
13 years.
Yeah. It was a good long run.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I've met so many of the, like we played with so many groups that I grew up with. Well, plus
old school festivals and such.
I grew up on their music.
That's true.
And
the thing is, the years that you were with Confunction, and I'm sure, they sound great today, but the last time I saw them, you were still with the band. It was at the Pleasanton Alameda County Fair. There are a lot of old school bands who are out there making the rounds who are just like, we're going to make a living playing the hits, and that's fine. That's respectable. But Confunction is one of the bands that I would lump in with the Whispers, the OJs, who are still like, oh, no, we're not settling for anything. Yeah. We're doing it. You're playing percussion in front of a guy like Brian Collier. Holy cow. Right. That dude is smoking. EQ's been on the show. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you have the core, Felton and Michael, and just to be able to play those songs that we grew up hearing and play them in in top-notch caliber.
Yeah. No, it's great.
What fun, huh?
Exactly. Fun.
Fun.
Yeah, it was amazing. So, like, I grew up on Confunction, but I didn't know all their songs. And I knew their big hit songs, but then, I didn't realize that because growing up in the Bay Area, I think that we're not sheltered, but we have we listen to different things.
Yeah, different musical sensibility.
Yeah, and so there's a whole, like the southern region and the eastern regions of the United States and northern region.
Shit, just Ohio.
Yeah, oh, wow. What the bands that have come out of Ohio, that's the land of funk right there.
That's the land of funk. Dayton.
Yeah. But, listening to all that music, it's just incredible. It's like, oh, man, I can't believe I'm playing this song. This is the cut. This is the song. I got this album for Christmas from my brother when I was a little kid.
I kissed a girl.
Yeah, no shit. Like, how often do you disappear into the song? Like, I know you're working, but you're also like, I had sex to this song. Like, that,
right.
Like, do you get swept away in the moment? And like,
so at the beginning, it was much more like, wow. Yeah, I can't believe this. Am I playing this song with these guys?
Yeah.
But then, after a while.
It wears off.
Yeah.
But there is that time where you're like, I often, like when I edit the show, I get lost sometimes in the show and I become my own fan and I'm like, I'm not even paying attention. I've got to go back 10 minutes and start listening again. And so it's good to hear that happens to other people because it really is. It's a mark of great stuff that really moves you, you know. So, and can function. Shit.
I mean, it really doesn't get a lot better than that, you know. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right.
You know, Chicago, I would take, too.
That's a bar. That's a bar that's pretty high
right.
up there.
Yeah, that's very high.
You just named 2 Hall of Fame bands, you know, so that's all right, yeah.
Who, my friend Jackie Bertoni, he actually plays with he's played with those guys. But, yeah, it's incredible, you know, and just all the people, like, just standing backstage watching bands like the Daz Band or the Barcades or, you know, Earth, Wind, and Fire or just all these great groups. It's like this is, or the Isley Brothers. I mean, this is incredible.
Yeah.
In, like, these legendary venues, too. And so, you know, I mean,
it was fun.
I mean, it was fun. It's not over. Nothing's over.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a new adventure.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of. Oh.
No, I was going to say, when you're in those venues, there's legendary ones, those houses that have so many stories to tell.
Yeah.
Do you feel that as a musician? Is your spirit such that you can hear it and everything?
I think so. For me, you know, I try to keep in touch with my spirituality anyway. You know, but like when we played the Monterey Jazz Festival,
right?
Being on that stage, it's like I totally felt something. When we played the Chicago Theater, same thing. Actually, I signed my name on in the back of the Chicago Theater. You know, there's like where everybody signs their name. So I'm like, my name's in the back of the Chicago Theater.
Man.
And yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, it's so certain. Yeah, definitely some venues it's like, I just want to get out of here.
Right, sure.
But those legendary
it's a little
venues.
sketch. I think that's a hypodermic needle. Watch out. But yeah, there's the legendary venues that you guys get to play.
I mean, I think you feel the spirits that have been through there.
Yeah. Wow. How much freedom did you get as a percussionist playing in Confunction? Because some of their arrangements, you know, they're wide open.
Yeah.
But there's a lot going on. They get the horn section and stuff.
So here's one of the things that I learned from the band leader that he said to a particular musician. I won't say who it is.
Okay.
Over the years. Play the record. Just play the record. Don't be playing all that fancy stuff while I'm trying to sing the verses.
Right.
Give me a verse, chorus, and then you can go and do your thing. But don't be.
There's a solo break for you.
But it's not while I'm singing the song.
Do it when it's your turn.
And, you know, I mean, so to me, and that was a lesson that I learned because I remember coming up, you know, and I guess this happens for all musicians, but for me as a percussionist, I used to see tons of percussionists. They would just try to clamor and claw like at jam sessions or whatever, and they just overplay. Just constantly overplay. And people would come up to me, like after they heard me, and they're like, you know what, I play with so-and-so, and I hated playing with them. Oh, actually, somebody had said to me, my first Confunction gig, he said, hey, man, I just want to tell you, it's so nice playing with the percussionists that don't solo through everything.
That's funny because contrasting, Leah Ticey talked about her struggles with soloing. You know, and it took her a long time to be like, make it okay. Like, remember when she was talking about how, like, they would, like, it's your turn to solo. And she's like, I'm going to scat something. You know, but maybe with a different voice, a musical voice, it's harder for other people to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Because she really was uncomfortable with that until she felt like she had her legs.
I was like that, too. My very first show with Confunction was a 3-day, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Kimball's East, which was in Emeryville at the time. And the first show we did 2 shows, and then that night, so we're in the back. It's literally my first time meeting everyone. And
how'd you get that gig? That was your first time meeting everyone?
Through the drummer.
Okay.
The drummer was Darwin Tillery.
Darwin Tillery,
at the time. Good friend of mine, great drummer.
Cool.
And so
one of the amazing Tillery family.
Right, exactly, the legendary.
Yeah.
And so he got me in. And so they were basically looking for somebody just for that weekend.
I see.
A percussionist just for that weekend. And so I got there, did the thing, and I was nervous as I don't know what. And so got there, played the parts. Like Michael couldn't even tell me what songs they were going to do. He was like, well, I can't tell you that because who knows, you know, I'm going to pull some stuff out. I'm like, okay. So I ended up buying all their CDs.
You had to go learn all the Confunction songs.
Like a week before that. And I'm just listening to all of it. Some of them I knew.
Yeah.
But some of them, I'm like, okay.
Sure.
If it's on the greatest hits, I probably should.
Lady, really? Wow.
Right, yeah. Which we never played.
Right.
But so that's what I did, and I tried to play the parts. You know, that's really, I wasn't trying to, you know, say, hey, I'm the greatest thing on this stage, because I'm not. This is your show. You know, and so that
you were a servant to the music.
Yeah. And after that night, after the second show, Michael says to me in the dressing room, he's like, oh man, I'm sorry. I forgot to give you a solo. And I'm thinking in my head, oh, my God, are you serious?
Yes.
I'm not looking for that right now.
Yeah.
I literally said this. I'm perfectly happy just laying the beat.
Yeah.
And I remember Felton turned around and looked at me because they had been playing with guys who just like were all over the place. Just crazy. Like too much.
Yeah.
And Felton looked
That's
at me
in the
like,
percussionist's DNA.
Yes.
but not mine.
Right.
I have to say, so, and that's what kept me working.
Yeah.
And so I remember Felton looking at me like, I can't believe you just said that.
I never met a person like you.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, I go home that night thinking, okay, I'm free and clear.
Yeah.
I'm free and clear. No pressure. Sure enough, the very first set on the next show.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, on percussion, D. Edwards.
There you are.
I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then that guy actually got built into the show. And so every time, we would do that every time, which was great. But that was that first time he said, "Oh, I forgot to give you a solo." I'm like, I'm just trying to hang on
Just
to
give me a paycheck.
There's a funny story about Pedro Guerrero, when he played baseball for the Dodgers, played third base, and he was terrible at third base, right? But he could hit, so it didn't matter. And so in baseball, you're supposed to think, hit the ball to me, hit the ball to me, I'm ready, hit the ball to me.
Right.
And so Tom Lasorda is asking him, he's like, what's the first thing you think of when you're out there in defense? He's like, don't hit the ball to me.
Hit the ball to anybody else.
And he's like, all right.
Take one to the opposite field.
What's the next thing you think of? And he's like, don't hit it to sacks. Granted, it's not exactly the same kind of thing, but it's hilarious when you're like, listen, not us. I'm good for right now.
Right, exactly. I'm good for right now.
Yeah.
Let me let that sink in.
Brother's just trying to get paid.
Is there something on that rack of things that you have at your disposal as a percussionist that you're like, I'm going to go grab that, whatever it is?
Well, my go-to instrument, it's a funny thing, is the triangle.
Oh, I love a triangle,
That's my thing.
man.
And it's funny because there's actually a lot of triangle work in Confunction's music.
Uh-huh.
You really listen. And the percussionist was Pete and Sheila Escovedo.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, if you listen to it, there's lots of triangle work on there. And so I'm a badass on the triangle.
That's your shit right
I
there.
can funk a triangle.
Man. I appreciate that, man. Quite a lot. I love the triangle. I love, I love it because it can lay back. It can sweetly color. It's just it's a beautiful.
I mean, it can do all.
instrument.
It can, like if you're doing like some Brazilian stuff or whatever. I mean, make you get up and dance.
Yeah.
Next time we do a show with you, we should do it over in Jim Stemple's studios, right over where we did the other stuff at Hilliard's office. And this guy has a percussionist dream in his thing.
There's so much shit in there.
Yeah.
There's a meat grinder.
It's a meat grinder.
that you hit with a variety of sticks.
Yeah, there's this tongue drum thing and I'm like, how do these sounds come out of this wooden box? It's like, I don't want to put Kleenex in this thing. I didn't realize it was musical. Isn't that right there? It looks like it's a fancy Kleenex box. Put some wipes on this side and some Kleenex in it. But no, it's this beautiful sounding thing. And so, yeah, we should have you over there next time.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, and so for me as a percussionist, so I'm not just a conga player.
Yeah.
Like a lot of.
But that's your basis, right?
Well, it is. I mean, that's the first thing I learned was congas.
Yeah.
But as a percussionist, there's this plethora of different instruments, right? So percussion is this umbrella term, but triangle has a different technique than playing a conga.
Sure.
Whereas guitar, it is.
Yeah.
It's how you play the guitar. You could have different tunings, but pretty much that's how you play it. So as a percussionist, whether you're playing like a güiro, which is the or
The fish with a stick.
yeah, right.
I love the fish with a stick.
Or triangle or whatever,
Yeah.
There's all different techniques. And so to me, each one of those things is a different instrument.
Right. If you can put effects on a bassoon now, as Paul from Vallejo does, Paul Hansen?
Oh, Paul Hansen.
Yeah.
Ariana plays with Paul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he does effects on that. Can you do the fish with a stick and put some pickups on it?
Absolutely. You could.
People should.
You could.
You could
I
throw
don't know about pickups. I don't know about
Or
pickups.
whatever.
But yeah, you could
throw
actually
that shit up in the air and stroke it with an afro comb. You know what I mean? That thing's a versatile instrument. I'm going to stick up for it. I love percussion, man, because it's so expressive. You can do everything from, the simplistic stuff where I'm just going to lay back on the backbeat right here on this tambourine and just play the backbeat with the drummer. Or make it a lot more filling. It's just such a wide array of things that you can do, and it makes a song so drastically different.
It really does.
When percussion exists in it.
I mean, to me, the percussion is like the sweetener. And to me, especially nowadays, so I was talking to my buddy Marlon Curry, who plays with this guy Kim. Kim is like a huge R&B artist, but Marlon is in Detroit, and he's a percussionist too. And his thing is percussionist. Last one hired, first one fired. And it's really, to me, it's a shame that so many groups nowadays are choosing to, while they have percussion on their recordings, they're choosing to do live shows without
a percussionist.
And to me, there's such a huge gap. Or they'll put some computer, like some sequence percussion in.
Well, it's hard to find a really good percusierist, man, who will be a servant to the music. So, once again, spread the wealth.
DEdwardmusic.com.
That's right.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not sticking up for anybody who goes on the road without a percussionist, because that's just that's morally reprehensible to me. But I can see why a lot of people are.
They're oughta.
They're really oughta. But I mean, shit, we see a lot of artists who just go out with tracks.
Yeah,
well, not have a band at all.
I mean, I get that. I'll say I've actually done that as well. If there's I'm sorry.
No, don't. Man, did you just get the stink eye from Pete? I was trying to hold it back. I'm like, I'm not even going to look at you right now.
I'm over here thinking about it. I have a question. I'm building off of this, but finish your point.
It's really a financial and logistical thing.
Yeah. Yes.
And I get that. But
so I was at a festival the other day. It doesn't matter who the band was, but it's a very, very, very well-known band, and they played, and there was a lot of stuff that was tracked already. But these guys are not on the road all the time. It's a one-off festival show,
right?
And it's like the crowd. Are they there for a super awesome time, or are they there for the festival experience? So if you did have some stuff looped in, is that okay as a musician? I know some bands are like absolutely not, never, always live, everything, but
well, no, I think it's okay. I think that's, especially nowadays, there's now music that you really can't do it without having either tracks or somebody working a laptop or the Ableton or whatever, and so I'm not against having tracks. I'm not against doing track dates. I'm not against, but as a percussionist and someone who would love to work, I would love to see more percussionists. These bands that have these hit records, and they have percussion. Stevie's got 2.
Yeah.
Maze has 2.
Yeah.
That to me is like that's honoring the music.
They sound amazing.
Amazing, right? And so I think
Stevie's also got 2 guitar players and 3 piano players,
and
him,
right?
But Stevie gets a different hunk of money when he goes out to a show.
That's true.
And then the other band that I'm thinking of doesn't have that luxury. They get plenty of money, but they're talking about 10% of their gate or whatever it's going to be that goes towards these other things.
I guarantee you Stevie has all those doubles because he's getting Stevie Wonder money.
Yeah.
And so, I get that. I mean, I totally get that. There's this whole, and, it's always been hard to make it in music.
Yeah.
It's extremely hard now that, people are trading files and people are basically taking music for free.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to pay for music anymore, and it's only 99 cents.
Yeah. Support your artists, people.
Well, we're big proponents of this. Like, what you do on your computer at home, I can't change that. But what I can tell you is that it's sexy to go out and watch live music with someone that you love.
That's true too.
If you're in any kind of a rut, if you're not sure if you're in a rut, you're in a rut.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen live music in months, years,
get out of that
Go
rut.
see some music. Because
that'll take you out of it.
Yeah.
That'll get you to a place with your lady.
Absolutely right.
Or I'm talking to the fellas right now. I could be talking to the ladies
fellas.
right now too, but I'm really talking to the fellas because I'm trying to help the fellas out.
Yeah.
Fellas, if you're in a place with your lady, go see some live music. Man.
Yeah. If you haven't taken her out.
If you haven't seen D. Edward live, D. Edward will get you some trim.
Yes. He grabs that triangle, my lady's pants gets wet.
Yep. You know what?
I do sing sexy music. I will say that.
Sexy. Yeah.
So we also have referenced a couple times today. It's been a magical day because we had Nathan East this morning with us, and we were talking about the Babyface Unplugged special. And he had Sheila on playing with Ricky Lawson. And Sheila did a spectacular job because, number one, she honored the music. Every song, I mean, she really laid back. And then when it was time to shine, of course, there's nothing she does better than shine.
Yeah.
So she did it when it was time to do it. But other than that, I mean, you would see her just laying way back and just supporting the groove.
That's how it should be. That's what you're supposed to do.
And it was so thick and soupy and wonderful,
and you're talking about the best musicians in the world. And if
Yeah.
they're doing that, then we should all be trying to do what they're doing.
Yeah, right.
We had earlier today, we had Nate East on.
Right.
And you cannot play the bass better than Nathan East.
Right.
And if he can sit back and lay the foundation so that Eric Clapton can go build you a wonderful experience that you will pay $500 a seat for.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to play right here because I'm Nathan East and I got all the chops in the universe?
Yeah.
I'm going to play this eighth note groove
Yeah.
for your ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lay back. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
And,
I think that's really important. I think that whole idea of playing the record is so important for musicians trying to get those gigs, those touring gigs or whatever. You have to be good, so
Yeah.
you have to be able to represent the music,
Yep.
but you also have to know how to control yourself.
control yourself.
Because
Take
that
it
is
easy.
exactly how you're going to get called back.
Yep. You remember that scene in Colors when Robert Duvall and Sean Penn were sitting in the
Oh, yeah.
car? And
Yes.
Sean Penn said it was a bull sitting on top of a mountain, and his son was sitting next to him. And the son said, "Hey, Pop, why don't we run down that hill and jump over that fence and fuck one of those cows?" And the daddy bull goes, "Son, why don't we walk down the hill, step over the fence, and fuck all of them?"
Okay.
That's right.
And that's what that is, really. It's just,
It's wisdom.
yeah. Because there are plenty of opportunities, and the thing about live music that's brilliant is when it cuts loose. But that only counts if you hold back, and when you cut loose, you make it special.
Right, and you're having a conversation with the rest of the folks
Yes.
on stage.
Yeah.
That's very important that you're not just one maverick just running loose.
Yeah.
It's really, to me, music is conversation. All the parts are all having a conversation.
Yeah.
And if you're talking to somebody and you're constantly talking over somebody or talking too loud over someone,
Right.
that doesn't make a good conversation. And so, it's when all of the minds are all together and you're all kind of going in the same place, that's when the magic happens.
Spoken as a true songwriter.
Yeah. And the thing that we keep learning over and over again is obviously hard work, matters.
Because Pete and I are dumb. We have to learn shit over and over.
Yeah. We are.
That
We're
is the
dumb.
truest statement you've heard all day.
And hungry. Dumb and hungry. Bad combination. But we keep seeing these lessons where
Also, we love our ladies. Hello, ladies.
want to go see some live music? Will your man not take you? You just call John and Pete.
And come see D. Edwards.
And D. Edwards, he's going to sing your pants off, and we'll be there. But the ability to put the work in, to know the restraint so that when the time comes, they know that you have the pro tools.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to run a little bit tonight. This is that show. This is the birthday show for Clyde,
Right,
the guy that plays the kalimba or whatever it is. Like, we're going to get a little crazy tonight. And
We got Clyde. He plays the kalimba.
Yeah.
Well, you got a smoking band.
I got a
and
big
you got
band.
one dude. All he does is play the kalimba.
and he only plays in a couple measures in a couple of songs. But, they have that night.
He's got 128 measure rest.
Right.
I'll tell you what's impressive is Pete's ability to remember what he was talking about after that sidebar about hello, ladies.
But that work, that dedication, that's the professional part where they're like, like people in my world, the combat world, are always like trying to tell you what they did, what I did. Like, you're here.
Yeah.
Your resume is good. I don't care about your resume. What I care about is, do you do stupid shit when people might
Right,
shoot a gun at us?
right.
Like, if I'm going to go out and ask questions, my questions are ready. I know the questions I need to ask, and I'm not going to miss. If you come out and you're asking half-assed questions, I have to look at you and go, are we going to go back to this
Right.
village?
Or if you come out and you're talking too much.
Yeah, like shut up, listen, and do your job.
Yeah.
And then when the time comes for something crazy to happen, then I know
crazy.
you can
Right.
do it. Yeah,
Right.
it's a
That's
it's
a good
universal
analogy.
lesson. Hey,
Yeah.
thanks.
Also, just as a reminder, take your ladies to see live music.
You know what, ladies?
DEdwardmusic.com. Go
That's
check out
right.
DEdwardmusic.com. Buy his latest album, Love Is. It's the one where he's walking off the side of the building. He worked real hard to tie knots to make sure he didn't kill himself that day.
did.
So support that. And let's talk about what you're working on next. What's upcoming now that you've been in Los Angeles? We're kind of making the announcement, that
That's
he's moved down
right.
here.
That's right.
Because he's been a Bay Area resident for so
I
long.
never told anyone I was moving,
It's official now.
except for my family.
He will just bone out, boy. He would
yeah.
just, you know what? Motherfucker owed me some lunch. Mm-hmm. We went to
What'd
lunch
that
at
guy
the
do?
place, and it was like, damn, I think he left town.
You know what? He owes me for like $5.
Man.
He needed some
Came over
monsters.
here, remember that
I
was
bought
it
him
was
two of
$5 foot long day?
Yeah.
And I shelled out.
We were at Costco and I bought him a couple
Left
slices of
town.
pizza.
I am not on the run.
That motherfucker moved to L.A.?
No, but so LA has been something I've been wanting to do since I was probably 18.
Right.
It's
You
not
know.
so much a move as a migration, right? Because
Yeah.
you were down here all the time.
Right. So I was, probably last 5-6 years, at least once a month or so, I was coming down here working, doing things down here, and so that's kind of what. Finally, my network was big enough that I felt that now's a good time to move down here. A lot of years later, but I think it's totally worth it. And so one of my first LA. So I've actually been here now for 6 months, but I actually kind of only consider I've been here for 6 months, but I just moved into. I've been subleasing an Airbnb for the last 6 months up until about 3 weeks ago. So I finally moved to Burbank.
Yeah.
I have an apartment in Burbank. It's great. I've been unpacking. I have way too much stuff.
Sure.
And
That's the case when you move. You're like,
Yeah.
well, why do I have
That's
all
the
these-
case when you have a red suit.
Yeah.
When you have a red suit, you have too much shit.
Here's my moving questions. How many different kinds of pepper did you have? Like, why do I need all this pepper? And how about mustard? How many different kinds of mustard?
So here's the thing. I actually threw that stuff out, but
Oh, did you?
I had tons of that, but because I didn't know where I was. I knew I was coming down here, but so I just kind of sort of packed up everything quietly and just left. I told my family because I actually had to stay with them for a month, but I told them a month before I was leaving.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm moving. Can I stay at your house for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, let me just finish this out. Let me ride out this last month. And they were like, all right.
I owe this guy Craig a couple slices of pizza. I don't want him to see me around.
So I've been down here officially.
Uh-huh.
I actually have an official address that's not a P.O. box somewhere here in Burbank. But so back in when I first got here, I'm producing a children's album now. It's my first LA story. It's a group called Lucky Diaz and the Family Jam Band. They're a Latin Grammy winning group. I played with them on their last album in Spanish that was nominated for a Latin Grammy 2 years ago. And they also have a show on PBS, and they won an Emmy.
Say the name of the group again.
Lucky Diaz and the Family Jam Band.
I just want to say when a guy named Lucky Diaz wins a Latin Grammy and says, you know what, I want D. Edward to play percussion on my record, you kind of got to be bad. Because his name is Lucky Diaz, for one thing. That's a dude who knows many percussionists. Let's face it.
He does.
And he won a Latin Grammy. That's a guy who has no shortage of percussionists in his Rolodex.
No shit.
And he calls D. I'm just pointing that out.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man.
And so he asked me to be a co-producer on the new album.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
So
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited about working with them. That's really what I've been focusing. Besides unpacking,
Right.
but I've been focused on their album and really finishing up their album, and it's a production team, and so we're really excited about it. It's called Made in LA. It's an English album, so
Okay.
yeah.
Still
So
Latin flavor.
yes, it definitely has a Latin flavor.
How Latin? I mean, is it L.A.? Like,
It's-
Ozo Motley.
So no,
They play a lot of Latin stuff, but they're an L.A. band. Like,
Yeah. So Lucky is a rock and roller kind of guy, right? So a lot of his influences are like the Beatles,
Uh-huh.
that sort of small group, kind of rock and roll.
Yeah, kind of bare bones.
a little surfery type
Right.
stuff,
Okay.
but with this Latin flair to it. So
That's
it's really
cool.
very, very cool music. Lucky actually last year he wrote a song for Coca-Cola
Uh-huh.
that they used it in their commercials like throughout all the theaters. It was only shown in the theater.
I see.
Amazing song, too. I actually went to iTunes after I heard it. I wanted to buy it.
Yeah.
It's not available. It's only for the commercial.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, he's a genius. He's a musical genius. And
his name is Lucky.
Lucky, yeah.
He's from San Francisco, too,
That's pretty
originally.
cool. Oh, okay.
He's been down here for a long time, but
Right, longer than 6 months. He's
yeah,
got several
yeah.
different peppers.
Did he let anybody know that he moved?
Several peppers
I think he did.
Since he moved down here. That's how we can tell he's got a long footprint here because his pepper collection has expanded. But he's still only D has more than one red suit.
Actually, so let me say this about the pepper. I have to go buy pepper because
I love it.
so where I was subleasing from, I think they had pepper at their house, so I didn't take their pepper. I took all the other salt and turmeric and all this other garlic. But yeah, so I've been cooking without pepper, and I'm getting tired of that. I need to go to the store probably after this.
Okay. Well, he's really bare bones.
We
man.
knew
He
what
has
to get
no
him
pepper.
for Father's Day.
No kidding.
Get you some pepper. Damn. So you have moved to L.A. You're doing some voice acting also.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes. Well, so I'm really just starting in the voice acting world. I've done some stuff in the Bay, like I've done some phone tree type stuff and more business-oriented stuff, but I'm really trying to get into the voice acting as well as on-camera acting too. And so that's one of the reasons why I want to be here.
Yeah.
Because this is the entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah.
So if it's not music, so I'm actually starting to get. I'm probably going to start doing some film production as well. I have some filmmakers, friends who are down here who are working on projects, and
Nice.
they kind of want me involved in it. And so I'm hoping to throw those irons in the fire.
Yeah, man. Stretch
Yeah.
out.
Make a
Do
mess.
some things.
That's right.
Because you defy type. That's the thing that's interesting about you. I mean, you're an Asian guy who
Yeah.
plays percussion
Right.
and sings love ballads with a bunch of chicks.
Yeah.
And has really a baritone voice, which is universal and has no discernible region that you can identify.
Yeah.
Right? You can really do a voiceover for anything, and somebody can go, "Yeah, I think that's the guy who says in a world."
Yeah.
You know.
In a world.
So we could do the whole non-type thing again, because I could say, yeah, you're an Asian guy who votes for Grammys, whose last name is Edwards.
Yeah.
Like, wait.
It's
those-
so it's actually Edward.
Edward?
No S.
Okay,
But that's his
that's
middle name.
word.
That's actually my middle name.
Is it
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, either way, though, it doesn't matter. That's your professional name.
Yes.
And it works. So,
Yeah.
you have all these
And
different mix of things.
So I'll be honest. So D. Edward came about. So and I'm not ashamed of my name. My name is Dale Edward Chung.
Sure.
And so D. Edward came about when I first started singing. And so I just started singing lead 2 albums ago. So Love Is, and then my album Little Red Box. And the way that came about was my friend Victoria, who happened to be playing with Stevie Wonder at the time. I was letting her hear some of the new music that I was doing. And
Yeah.
I used to have other singers sing on stuff who were much better than me. And so I had this project that I was kind of putting together, and I let her hear it. And she's listening to me, like she hears this one song that I sang, and she's like, "That's a great song, and you have a great voice." And then there's somebody else singing it.
Yeah.
And so after she heard everything, she said, "You have a great voice. And your project is like kind of all over the place. You got these other singers on there." And she says, and since you're not Quincy Jones,
Yeah.
you might want to think, if you have a song, it's got vocals on it, you got a great voice, that you sing those songs, because this is your project. And that's actually what did it. We were actually on our way to NAMM. We were driving down to NAMM from the Bay Area, and she heard, she was in the car for 5 hours.
Yeah, that's where you have a captive audience.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and so that's where it happened. And so all through NAMM, like that whole weekend at NAMM, I'm thinking, I got to get home. I got to get home and rewrite some songs. Got to rewrite some songs. And so that's what I did. And so that's kind of how the whole singing part came about.
from Victoria's encouragement.
Suggestion, yeah. And so
Thank you, Victoria.
yeah.
Good work. I mean, usually when you have that captive audience for that length of time, the drive from the Bay Area to Los Angeles, for instance, I've done that drive on many occasions with Pete, and he went through an experiment where he tried to alter his diet to make his farts smell like someone was baking a
my
brownie. And that was the time that I had to endure quite a bit of trial and error.
It's called fart hacking.
Yeah. So he was trying to hack his farts and make it. He wanted to have somebody walk in the house and go, "Did someone just bake a biscuit?" No, man, I farted in the entry hall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sometimes you're your own captive audience.
Yeah.
On that long drive in the Central Valley, and that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing.
So you made it down here with something productive, you and Victoria. And was that one of the NAMM sessions that you came to where you saw Harvey Mason? Because
No, actually, so you saw Harvey at
Oh, I
NAMM.
saw Harvey at NAMM.
Harvey in Japan, in Tokyo.
That's
When
right.
when Confunction and Foreplay were playing in Tokyo.
Yes.
We were both staying at the same hotel, and yeah, that's like
That's
probably
better than running into him at NAMM.
I mean, talking to him, having him email me. So this is a long time ago because this was before Facebook. This is when MySpace was the social media. And yeah, I met Harvey Mason. He was so down to earth. Like he's my idol.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him all of my life.
Yeah.
Like big, on TV. And yeah, when I saw him and Nathan walking through the restaurant, I'm like, Harvey Mason. Like, I see Nathan East too, but I'm like, Harvey Mason. He's like, yeah, and I'm like, hey. And so Confunction we're all sitting together. It's like one morning we had gotten there and we were having a quick meeting over breakfast. And so nobody else in the band wanted to take a picture. Like, nobody took a picture with them until I did, because that's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, can I take a picture? They're like, absolutely. And then everybody else.
Yeah.
Let me take one too. Dave, take one too. Send me the picture.
Man.
I love it.
Yeah, no, he was great. I mean, this guy is one of the best ever.
Yeah.
And,
You know what's awesome is, sometimes we talk about Mr. Rogers, because Mr. Rogers will have that episode where he's like, he wants to expose kids to, whatever, yarn weaving. And then
Right.
he'll go, let's go visit, Mary Ann. She has a loom. And then, it's like, hey, boys and girls, this is a drum. We're going to go visit my neighbor. And they go, and he lives in a neighborhood where, everything's wonderful. So he's going to go visit his neighbor to show boys and girls what a drum looks like. And his neighbor's Harvey Mason.
Yeah.
right.
They're playing,
Right.
and it's like Herbie Hancock sitting in the background.
Or Tito Puente's right there.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Where is this neighborhood?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Harvey Mason's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so I emailed him. Right after that, like, it was an honor meeting you, blah, 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 blah. And he emailed me back. I framed it. So I have this one email from Harvey Mason framed.
Wow.
Because he was like, yeah, I hope to see you on the road. It was great. I'm sorry we had a gig. I was looking, I really needed some fun.
Harvey Mason said, I wish I didn't have a gig tonight so I could see you guys play.
Yeah. That's a guy that gets it.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
He gets it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's saying this while he has his Academy Award Letterman jacket on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, that's a guy. He's not only playing for the Academy Award, but he gets a Letterman jacket.
Right. They give him the commemorative jacket. It's not even like the uniform one they made him wear.
And it's not one of those like satiny cheap ones. It's
Yeah.
like real
Legit.
leather, like wool, like
right. $600
Yeah,
Letterman
right.
jacket.
Yeah.
For the
It's
Academy
not like
Awards.
some dude off somewhere far away spray painting letters on
Right.
the back. It's actually embroidered with
Right.
like baby hair.
Right, exactly.
Hey,
Yes.
man, we've had you for an hour. Never mind that we've had you for about 9.5 hours today, and that you've
It's been my honor.
dutifully hung with us. But we've had you for an hour, and we want to make sure that as we close up, we let everybody know that you should go to dedwardmusic.com and check out what's there. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great concert shots, and you'll see all our friends.
You will, our friends, and you'll see all my music. There's more music than just those two albums.
These two albums.
Yeah.
But, also on the website, take a look and check out the albums Little Red Box and Love Is, where you damn near sacrificed your life for the pleasure of our viewing the album cover. So
I did.
Yeah, man. Hey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This has been great.
Yeah, it has. It's
Yeah.
been a lot of fun.
And you thought you had nothing to say.
I'm surprised an hour went by. I thought it was about 10 minutes.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Awesome. You guys
The
are
Edward,
amazing.
everybody.